Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's 30-Minute Mentor. It's the 18th of August, and I'm going to talk about building your list on Facebook today. So let me know if you can see me and hear me. I'm going to go into screen share in just a moment. So here we go. You should hopefully now be able to see my screen. And if you can, somebody can let me know that you can see my screen and hear my voice, we can get on with things today. I get back to my control center. Somebody can let me know. Time, Mayor, London, anybody? Hello to everybody. Okay, London, thank you very much. Right, we can progress. What I want to talk about today is building your list. As you know, I've been concentrating this year on just two main things. And they're the only two things you need to do to make money online. And one is build a list, and the other is learn to communicate with that list, building rapport with your list. And there are lots and lots of different ways of building your list, and there are lots and lots of different ways of communicating and building rapport with your list. And today I just want to talk about the use of Facebook. There's some new software out for Facebook which will help you communicate through Facebook. I've just bought it, but I haven't actually used it yet, so I'll perhaps talk about that next week. But this is really one of the best places to get your leads from is from Facebook. So that's why I want to talk about this. And if I get to my presentation, so it's a bit dry, I don't know why. Okay, some marketers believe that email lists are not as important as they were a few years ago, largely because of Facebook and other social media. But if we look at the statistics, in the last year, 66% of all consumers over 15 years of age made a purchase because of an email. 66%. So that's 2/3 of all purchases from people over 15 years of age were instigated by an email. 91% of consumers check their emails at least once a day. And 64% of decision makers read their emails via mobile phones. And over 70% of mobile purchasing decisions, over 70% of mobile purchasing decisions are influenced by email. So I think that suggests that email is still very, very important, and probably still the most important way of making sales online. It clearly suggests that email marketing is not only alive, but more relevant than ever before. But if we look at Facebook, on the other hand, Facebook is the world's largest social network. And for many users around the world, it's more important than emails. Just look at these statistics. Every month, there are 4 billion visitors on Facebook. There are 700 million visitors on Facebook groups and more than 700 billion minutes spent on Facebook globally. If we look at this on a daily basis, there are more than 890 million people on Facebook every day. And there are over 1 billion searches on Facebook, with more than 3 billion video views on Facebook every day, and more than 7 billion post likes on Facebook every day. These are mind-boggling statistics. It's hard to imagine the volume that is there. And people are worried about things getting saturated. You know, there's just so much available to you today. But why should you route Facebook users to your email list? Well, because even though Facebook offers you extraordinary exposure and reach, relying on it for your long-term business strategy is risky. And I've got this a bit mixed up here, haven't we? Let's just change that. Put it in there. That's better. Because no matter how many Facebook page likes you have, they're still not your property. And they can be taken away from you just by one little algorithm change. This has happened with many, many different programs in the past. You've had things that you think are successful, or maybe you've not. But I mean, I have certainly. I've been online since 1998, and I've seen Google Ads just go from being one of the top producing income activities for many, many affiliate marketers, not just myself. Many of them spending a lot more than me on advertising every month, just to have it taken away overnight. And Facebook's tightening the screws now on page owners. It doesn't give you the same free exposure that it once offered. Not only is it that when you post on your timeline and your profile page, probably only 2%, and maybe less, of your friends ever see that post. And it used to be that Facebook pages were a better way because people saw more there, but that's going the same way now. There's algorithms in place there that mean that a lot of what you put on your Facebook pages isn't getting through to people either. So it's not as simple and easy as it used to be, and you can't rely on it. On the other hand, email subscribers are your real online assets. They are your business. Your list is your business. Creating your list is your business. Your business, no matter what it is that you're hoping to sell as an end product, your main business is the creation and maintenance of that list and building rapport with that list. Because that is yours. You've got complete control over your email lists, and you can use them for creating long-term strategies. So instead of relying completely on Facebook, the intelligent approach is to use Facebook for building your email lists. And here's how you can do it. First of all, you need to identify your audience. See, when you're building an email list, it's not just the number of subscribers that matters. It's the quality and the relevance of your subscribers that's equally important, or even more important. Your objective for list building is to convert subscribers into buyers. So you need people who are seriously interested in what you have to offer. Does that make sense? I know we've talked about this in different ways many times this year already, but this is so important. You need people who are interested in what you have to offer on your list. Because if you've got people that aren't interested in what you've got to offer on your list, they're just costing you money, because every subscriber on your list eventually is going to cost you money, maintenance. So you want to get rid of anybody that isn't interested. And to build a list in this way, you need to identify your audience. You need to create the right buyer personas. A buyer persona is a sample profile of what your ideal buyer, or somebody who's genuinely interested in your offer, might be. You need to know who that person is, who you think you should be targeting. You wouldn't target vegetarians if you were selling beefsteaks. So you need to identify your audience. As an example, if you're selling a weight loss product, your ideal buyer could be maybe a 35 to 40-year-old man living in a major US city, earning at least $100,000 a year, and genuinely concerned about his increasing weight. Now, there may well be other people outside of that description, but if that's the nucleus of your marketplace, you need to know. You can always pick up the 18 to 35-year-olds and the 40 to 65-year-olds, or whatever they may be, and the people that aren't earning quite as much or are earning more, and maybe living in the UK instead of the US. But you need to build that profile. You need to know where your main objective is. And this could be your main objective. This could be your main target, your ideal buyer. Yeah, there'll be other buyers, but this is where most of your sales is perhaps going to come from. 80% of your sales perhaps from this, and 20% from people that are outside of this profile. So you need to be thinking seriously about identifying your audience for whatever it is you're selling. Who are they? Who's likely to buy? Who needs what you've got? Who has the money to buy what you've got? And who has the authority to spend that money on buying what you've got? Once you've done that, you need to start thinking about how you're going to get people to join your list. And the usual way is to create a freebie. But you need to create the right freebie for your people, for your persona, for your products. Now, there are different kinds of incentives to lure people to the email list. It's really, you're buying the right to send them messages by giving them something in exchange. And in most cases, it'll be maybe an ebook, free course, or a discount coupon, or a video, or something like that. But to attract the right subscribers, you need to create a freebie that's in line with your paid offer. Sometimes if you've got a video course, for example, and it's 10 videos, your freebie could be video number 1. You need to make it all congruent. So your advert for your free video on this subject, and then you get the other 9 videos by paying whatever it is. It all needs to be in line. That's what congruency is. Following the same path. You don't want to be confusing people. You don't want to be talking about one thing and then sending them somewhere else. And it's important because you don't want to attract subscribers who are just looking for freebies. It's very easy to put something out that everybody are locked in for. But you want to attract people who are prepared to pay you for your services in the long run. Because a business without sales is no business. It's an expensive hobby. So as another example, if you were offering SEO and digital marketing services, your freebie could be a free website SEO audit, or it could be an SEO checklist. Checklists do well. Cheat sheets. But just make sure your freebie has some immediate value for your target audience, for your users, so that they subscribe to your list immediately. Subscribe to your list immediately. And then when you've got that freebie sorted out, once you know what it is, once you've got that congruency, once you've got your end product, because you've got to work back from that end product, you've got to have your product, and then from that product you can draw up your freebie, and from your freebie you can then create your landing page. So many people think that people are going through this funnel, so they need a landing page, so they try and create a landing page first, and then they think, what can I give them? And then they try and think about what they can give them, and then they're sending them to the offer, and they're doing it all back to front. They're doing it in the order that people are going to go through, but the way to do it is to start with your product and work back down, taking a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and bringing it down so that you've got your pre-offer. And once you've got your landing page and your autoresponder series, because that's important, you want an autoresponder series. Now, autoresponder series are extremely useful because they can drip feed additional information to your prospects, to your potential buyers. They shouldn't be the be-all and end-all, but they are very useful, because if you get caught up and you don't have time to do something, then that person's going to get a message. But you want to be also sending out broadcasts. A little bit of news. Somebody just bought this product that you were looking at, and I've just got this feedback from them. Send it out. You know, there's lots of things you can do in the broadcasts to build that rapport more and better than through an automated series. But you must have an automated series in place as well, because people don't buy the first time they see things. You might get an odd sale, but in general, people have to be taken through a process, and it takes time. They need to see things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, several times before they buy. Statistics today are showing that people, generally speaking, are looking at things 7 or 8 times before they're able, or before they're willing to make a purchase. Some of them, it might be 12. I've had people buy a product that they first looked at 2 years down the line. 2 years down the line. And people want instant cash. It takes time. You've got to build that rapport, and you've got to take people through the process. So once you've got that, then you can start looking at a Facebook ad campaign. And so once you've completed the groundwork, you can then find highly targeted visitors. And when you're creating your ad, you need to keep in mind who your target is, who that buyer persona is. You need to have that in your mind all the time in everything you're doing. Because Facebook ads have a very precise targeting system, and you can use it to zoom into your target audience and attract the most relevant visitors to your landing page, because that's who you want. You want people that are in that close group where 80% of your sales are going to come from. And while you're creating your ad, keep the following points in mind. And I know people say, oh, but Facebook ads, of course you have to pay, yeah, but they're not expensive. You can do a Facebook ad for $3, $4, $5 a day. And you can monitor it. And it's so highly targeted that it's silly not to use them. But you want to use at least 4 or 5 quality images for your ad, because the images on Facebook don't last forever. You can't just have one image and it's done well, because it's going to die off in effectiveness. So you want to start off with 4 or 5 high quality images, and then you want to constantly be revising those as you go. And you need to test different headlines and content for your ad. The image, somebody's attention, it's got to take them out of their mindset. It's got to make them shift from where they are to say, oh, what's that? And then once they've seen that image, there's got to be a headline there that turns them on, that is precisely targeted at that person that you want. And it needs to make them want to read the copy, the content. And the content for your ad needs to be brief, to the point, and congruent. Tell them what they're going to get and how they're going to get it. Tell them what to do next. It must have a call to action. And you start with a small budget for each ad. I know people that spend thousands of dollars a day on Facebook. I spend hundreds quite often. I don't very often spend thousands, but nobody starts out with thousands. It doesn't matter how much money you've got to put into a campaign. You start with a small budget for your ad. And you do test runs to find out what's working, to find the combination that's best. Because marketing is not precise. You do not know what's going to happen with a campaign until you put it out there and try it. And some of the campaigns that you spend a lot of time on and you think they're really great are going to bomb. And some of the campaigns that you throw together and you think, well, I've got to get it up there quick but I'm not sure how it's going to do. They might really take off. You don't know until you get it out there. And that's why you don't put a load of cash into it. You start with a small budget and you do test runs and you find out what's working and you make sure it's as precise as possible to your market. And when it starts working and you monitor the results closely, if your Facebook ads are getting a lot of clicks and sending traffic to your landing page, then it may be worth scaling up. But if the visitor to subscriber conversion rate is low, then you might need to make adjustments to your landing page content and the structure there. And if the opt-in rate is good, but the sales rate is bad, then your sales letter may need adjustment. Is it congruent? Do people understand what they're going through, why they're going to get there, what they're looking for as an end product? They need that, maybe not to be shown to them at the beginning, but it needs to be a natural progression through. Now, I've done lots of testing with lots of different advertising, not as much as a lot of people, but still a lot more than most. And in my experience, Facebook ads have the highest click-through rate among all other paid advertisement tools. So if you're looking for a high click-through rate on your paid advertising, Facebook is where you want to be. And why? Because you can target so precisely. But if you're going to put out something that isn't targeted, you're not going to get that high click-through rate. And that's why we looked at the other things to start with. And don't expect to be an expert on day one. You're not going to be an expert on day 500. There's always something to learn. You have to go through a learning process. And learning involves making mistakes. There are going to be mistakes, and you're going to have campaigns that don't work. You're going to have campaigns that bomb. I've been in marketing for 40 years. I've been marketing online for 18 years. And I don't know what's going to work. You've got to use trial and error with every campaign you start. You've got to be prepared for campaigns that don't take off, because most of them won't. Most of them are going to be slow starters. Occasionally you're going to hit pay dirt, gold, bang, yeah, it's up and running and it's doing great. But that is the icing on the cake. Most of them are going to be slow starters. And you've got to test, monitor. Now, as I said at the beginning, Facebook has millions of active members, and they're from all across the globe. And by using the strength and the exposure that this system, this platform affords you, you can attract highly relevant subscribers to your mailing list, and that can be then converted into an online asset. A mailing list that's full of subscribers that aren't interested is of no value, but a mailing list that has highly relevant subscribers on it is a massive asset. However, in order to benefit from Facebook ads, you need to build a solid foundation with your freebie landing page and your autoresponder sequences and your broadcasting. But if you get it right, you can build a thriving email list in just a few days, literally, on Facebook. Days, not months, not years, days. So it's question time now, but before we get into questions, let me just pull up, there's a blank sheet here, because I've just put a blog post up which is covering Facebook posts, Facebook advertising, sorry. So let me find the link for that for you. And in fact, I was going to write this and I was running out of time, and while I was doing some research, I found an excellent post, and that is incorporated into this page. And this is all about getting started with Facebook advertising and what to do. It's a really, really useful article. So that is the link for that. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll put that back up here. No, how do we do this? Just copying it. Copy here. Copy. That's what we do. If we go back here, I'll put that in somewhere. I need to put in a text box. And then we can paste in there that link, and we can move that down a bit. And it's there. If you need it, it's still there. Make it a bit bigger, perhaps. make it a bit smaller than that so it fits in. There we go, that'll do. So use Facebook to build your list. You can build a highly targeted, valuable asset in a very short space of time, but don't expect to be an expert overnight. There aren't many people that consider themselves Facebook marketing experts. I certainly don't consider myself one. I've had some astoundingly successful results, but I've also had some flops. So you need to be thinking about that. As I say, there is some software out now which I bought the other day. It's really, really very clever. It's like an autoresponder on Facebook, and I'm not sure whether the price has gone up now. I think I paid about under $30 for it, one-time payment, but I've not installed it yet. So perhaps next week when when we're doing things, I'll have got round to installing it and using it, and I'll be able to show you that working. So do we have any questions? Let me get back to my... Is there anything we can help anybody with? Nice to see a few familiar faces in the audience here. Hello to everybody. Tim, thanks. Good information. I appreciate your feedback, Tim. Has anybody got anything that I can help them with in the marketing that they're struggling with a little bit, struggling with setting up, or they've hit a roadblock? Or I say I've been marketing online for 18 years, and for 40 years, over 40 years in total, I've been involved in marketing. So I don't have all the answers, but I've got a lot of them, because chances are whatever you're encountering that perhaps you're having difficulty with is something that either I've come up against myself and overcome, or somebody I've been helping because I've done a lot of coaching and mentoring and in marketing. We'll have seen most things. There's not very many things that I've not seen and found a way round. And you know, these massive big obstacles that people see in their path, once you've got past them and you look back at them, they're not that big mountain at all. They're a little molehill. They only look big until you pass them. So look for challenges. If you're not finding challenges, you're not growing. Every morning when I wake up, I think, I hope I find some new challenges today. Sometimes they can be frustrating because you think, oh, I thought I've got that sorted, but that's how you grow. You grow from these challenges that you come across, and you learn to overcome them. And that is your growth and your development. And that's what gives you value. And until you have built your value, you can't build your income. If we have no questions from anybody, then I'm going to close this down. I appreciate your time. It's a 30-minute mentor session, and we've been on for 35 minutes. I thank you all for being here. There is no reason in this world why you cannot be successful as an online marketer, provided you put your mind to it and you don't expect automatic overnight income. Just don't going back to what I said on that slide, don't expect to be an expert day one. It's not going to happen. Some people will get there quicker than others, but everybody can get there. And it's a banquet table that's full of everything that you could ever want and desire. It's worth the effort. With that, stay awesome, and I'll see you next week. God bless.